Welcome to the shit show.
Wait a minute.
How
I
about
can't
that?
hear either
Yeah,
of
here we
us.
How about that?
Wait a minute. I can't hear.
There it is. There it is.
So there we
Well,
are.
let's.
So we'll go back to this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we go. Vibe check to start the show. As always, I've got the Kansas City Royals hat right here. Won today 8-4. Took 2 of 3 from the San Francisco Giants, riding high at 28-23. Still, just working on ways to getting better. Vinny's starting to hit the bat better. We've got Salvi with his third home run of the year. Became 9th all-time catcher for most home runs by a catcher. He's now 9th in regards to catcher being your primary position. So love that. And then I've got probably my favorite shirt that I own because it's sentimental. So it's the shirt of Harley Race. And Harley Race, Kansas City guy, legend here in the area. It's a suplex shirt. If you're wanting to get it, go to their website. But what you'll notice is he's sitting in an office. And this would later become, about 30 years from then, my office at Memorial Hall. And that's the t-shirt I'm wearing. So that's my vibe check. So Tim, let's do it again. Take 2. It's always great to hear it twice.
I have to admit to this shit twice.
Yeah.
For anybody listening back on the podcast, because I probably will chop that so there's not, fucking 5 minutes of dead silence. We did this once, and apparently the mics weren't on. And so now I got to say it again. I am wearing a Jeff Jarrett shirt. Not because I like Jeff Jarrett, but because one of us has to wear it every time we make predictions for a pay-per-view for AEW, because that's the loser's punishment is you're going to wear this fucking shirt, which I said. looks like he stole the idea from a Welcome to Wyoming shirt that you get at the Welcome Center, right? Like the tourism place. And he just took the wolf out and put himself in place.
Yeah, or it looks like the guy that designed the Affliction t-shirts went bankrupt and was like, one last idea, and he made that shirt.
Yeah. It does look clip arty, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was probably made by Microsoft Paint. And the best thing about the shirt, besides that it belongs to you and you own it, is it's off-centered. I love that about that shirt.
Yeah,
is that you
doesn't
wear it
like-
and it's
yeah,
always
look,
off-centered.
It's like it doesn't. It needs to be over here and more. Man, Tom,
Yeah.
my redemption arc starts tonight when we make predictions for AEW Double or Nothing, which is coming up this Sunday. And I'm excited because you're finally going to fuck this up, Tom. You're going to lose. We're going to have to hang out at some point. That's another part that sucks about this. But
No, because you just keep it.
Then.
You just keep it. That's why I never get to see you. That's another benefit of always winning.
All right,
this is
so
the best.
wish me luck in the chat. If you're in the chat, talk along with us, right? We're going to be making some predictions. We want to hear your predictions. We're also going to talk about what happened on Dynamite, right? That led up to some of these matches here. Collision is tomorrow night. We couldn't quite make that work. So who knows? We might be blind to something big that's going to happen that might change the whole storylines. That might be my key to success here, right? That might be my lifeline.
Fuck Your Mama 2 Times says the shirt was made by the tall guy Scrape from the T-shirt MMA show. Actually, his name is Skyscrape. He's one of the co-founders of Tap Out. It was Skyscrape, Mask, and Badass or something like that. Skyscrape, though, very, very smart individual, would wear like a huge 1970s style fro. I met him in Vegas, and he really actually helped me out with Fight Show Live back in the day.
Tell me this, that you guys had you and some guys owned a like a t-shirt and apparel, like kind
in
of
the cage.
like a kiosk in the mall, but you set up a cage and called it In the Cage.
Yeah. We
That's
sold
awesome
Tap Out
stuff.
Yeah, and the guy that passed was Mask. If you look, I don't know if it does it anymore because they lost their soul, because that's what happens when you get too much money. But at one point in time, the UFC, their door where the fighters would enter in was, it said Charles Mask Lewis on top of it because it was dedicated to him. I think now they've got rid of it because of an advertisement, because fuck that. Why not just make money?
Now this is the UFC brought to you by Kit Kat.
Yeah, so anyhow, that's great that you're wearing that shirt. I'm
It is not great.
Yep. It makes me happy though that you're
Tom,
wearing.
I feel like my kidney hurts when I wear this shirt.
That makes sense.
Oddly
You should
enough.
probably, get your blood checked. It's probably
I bet
in your
Jeff
bloodstream.
knows why. I bet
Yeah.
Jeff knows why.
Probably got some guitar strings that's like infiltrated into your bloodstream.
It's guitar string fibers that are like entering. Yeah.
Yeah,
God
that's
damn
what it is.
He made this out of recycled guitar picks.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
It's all the crumbs from all the chair shots that he did on people and made it into a shirt.
It's the recycled fibers from like the from the hair dye netting, right?
But hey, so that we get to celebrate you keeping that shirt, what we're going to do tonight, keeping those
Tune
picks
in
going.
next week, by the way, to see Tom wearing this shirt instead of me.
It's not going to happen because it never happens.
It has happened. You
Nah.
have had to suffer this shirt.
Look,
for
I don't
long
think anyone's ever
periods
seen
of
it.
time. And it's
I don't
coming
think
back.
anyone's ever seen it. I've
Your
never seen that
nightmare's
shirt in
returning,
person.
Tom.
Never seen it in person. What we're going to do is Tim has the card up. He's going to do the matches. And then if the match correlates with what happened tonight on Dynamite, we're going to talk about that segment and then give you again our picks. I'll win. Tim loses. And we all have fun. It's the best when Tim loses, right? We all love it when Tim's sad.
Some of these facts are true that Tom just said here, and some of them are false facts. Now, Tom, let's talk about it, right? By the way, again, everybody, chime in if you're in the chat. If you miss us live and you're listening back on the podcast or watching the on-demand live stream, you can always get in touch with us at the Blue Sky. We're on the Blue Sky at, now this is our username, it's at www.allelitewrapup.com. And that's also the website, allelitewrapup.com. Go there, find all the links you need, YouTube, the podcast, the donate links. Hit that one again. The donate links. Were the mics on for that one, Tom? The donate links,
so.
if anybody's feeling philanthropic in this time. And Tom, we're going to hash it out, right? We're going to talk about it. Oh, you can also email us. Anybody. You can
Always
email us. AEWrapup@gmail.com. Written, video, audio. We'll talk about it right here. Now, Tom, let's talk about AEW Double or Nothing. First of all, this is coming to Phoenix, Arizona. What do you think about Phoenix, Arizona, and Double or Nothing emanating from Phoenix?
Well, Phoenix has a special place in my heart because the night before this year's Super Bowl, I hung out. Actually, it was Scottsdale, but we flew into Phoenix. I hung out with the 10th highest paid athlete in the world, Kevin Durant. And so I always get sentimental because that's where I met Kevin Durant, hung out with him, chopped it up, talked about music, talked about basketball, talked about the wildfires in California, talked about Kansas City, all the fun stuff.
Did you tell him about me?
No, I didn't.
No.
Well, actually, you know what I did? I did.
Yeah.
I said, there's a shirt that will make your kidneys hurt and probably make your kids hate you. And Tim owns it. My friend Tim, he has that shirt.
I do feel like my family, is disappointed in me when this shirt is in the house.
And then just disappointed in you.
Yeah,
so that's
more so than usual.
Yeah, just a double whammy there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Phoenix is fine. I will say the downtown, pretty boring. Pretty boring.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah, been there twice. We went to 2 Fiesta Bowls, which is,
Ooh.
Tempe, but, kind of, all the same stuff here. I think what Kevin Durant, you said when you were like, hey, is there anything in Phoenix we need to do? And he was like, nah.
Nope, you're good. He said, all good there, brother.
No, but what you can do if you're in Phoenix this Sunday, May 25th, is you can score yourself a ticket somehow, get into this building, and watch AEW Double or Nothing. And, Tom, we're going to make those predictions so that if you miss it, you already is going to know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, because you're going to listen to me and not to Tim. That's how it goes. You're welcome.
You're getting this shirt.
Nope.
All right. Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia are taking on FTR with, I can only assume,
Big Stoke.
standing ringside.
Yeah, and tonight on AEW Dynamite, we heard from Big Stoke and
Big Stoke?
FTR. Well, actually, just Big Stoke.
Mhm.
And essentially, kind of, generic bad guy promo. Said that Nigel will be signing his last contract. They're going to do a contract signing tomorrow on Collision. Again, we're not recording on Thursday night because I have a back injury. I have to get that back worked on. The only availability was Thursday night. Sorry. Yeah, so that's what we heard from them. Didn't hear anything from Nigel or Garcia. I imagine we'll probably hear from them tomorrow when they do the contract signing. But with that being said, I'll go first. I got the FTRs.
Yeah, I mean, look, I need to pick different things than you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't go willy-nilly and pick things that are obviously wrong. That's still to my detriment in these picks. And I just don't see a way we make FTR look like they can't beat Nigel McGuinness off the bench and Daniel Garcia, right? So FTR is winning this. Are we going to see Magic Trick Menard come out and do something? And
Ooh. Yeah, possibly, because so here's my thought of why I'm taking FTR. That doesn't even have really anything to do with the actual feud. It's they announced that All Out is going to be in Canada. They're moving away from Chicago, going up to Toronto. Well, what's one of the bigger matches that they could do in Canada? Reuniting Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Yep. So you got to have a big, scary monster tag team to have them go up against, and that's FTR.
They're going to want it. If it's their final tag team match or even the start of they want it to be FTR 100%.
Right.
They're like, they love those guys. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so they got to keep racking up those wins to be as viable
they gotta
as
hurt
possible.
These guys. They're going to hurt Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness.
I wouldn't be shocked, though, if it's, something to the effect of Menard post-match or what cost him the match beats up Daniel Garcia. You should never have listened to Nigel. That motherfucker, I was the best for you, and you turn your back on me. Something like that. I could see that happening, definitely.
Yeah, you could see that. I could just even see him being the guy who, saves them from the real murder, right? Kind of like how he did recently, right? When he comes out with the whatever the fuck he had, right? So, yeah, anything like that. Well, All right. We're going to go to, and I don't know why this is a stretcher match, but it's the stretcher match with Ricochet and Mark Briscoe.
I don't get the reasoning behind this unless there's something I missed. But let's talk about tonight. So Ricochet, one of the guys in this match for Sunday night, was in action tonight against the 5-tool player, Anthony Bowens. And Ricochet looks great. Anthony Bowens looks great. And they have a good old wrestle, right? Wrestle. And Ricochet comes out on top. So before we actually get into the match, I want to get your opinion, though, on Anthony Bowens here, right? So he comes out. He's still with Billy Gunn. Apparently, the whole reason for the match was one person scissors to bring people together. The other one does it to take their head apart, right? And that's fine. But now that we've done 4 or 5 weeks, anything making you want to say more Anthony Bowens?
No. I mean, I was making fun of him on Blue Sky tonight because I said his shirt looks like he hadn't finished knitting it yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing here. And yeah, you lost the scissor off.
Yes, you can't do it. You shouldn't be able to do it. So I love the Jane's Addiction song. So every time that the song starts, I'm like, fuck yes. And then he comes out like 1992 WCW Power Plant and fucking yeah. And it's just, come on. Also, on top of that, hey, again, not to be offensive or anything like that, but go away and bring back Max Caster. I preferred the Max Caster's the best wrestler alive fucking offbeat clap.
Yeah, we
like,
haven't
that's
seen that in
better.
a while.
Yeah, get him back and fuck off with this baseball analogy that no one really cares about. You know?
I saw someone said they should make Billy Gunn be a baseball dad and have him like yelling at the ref for bad calls and shit, being too drunk.
That was two. Yeah, he gets man. It's a little too close to home. But going to this stretcher match. So Ricochet wins. Let's just finish this out here. Ricochet wins, and then he's celebrating, ha 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 ha. And then immediately, old Mark Briscoe comes out and starts beating him up. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, Mark Briscoe looks like he's trying to grow that hair as fast as he can by Sunday.
Yeah.
Looks like he's not shaving the head. But yeah, he beats him up, and there we go. We get a stretcher match on Sunday. So with that being said,
you can't be bald when we're making fun of the bald guy throughout this match. So
right. So who you got on Sunday? Ricochet or Mark Briscoe?
I am really torn here, Tom, because I'm looking at the 8 matches we have to pick from here. And I'm worried we're going to pick every goddamn match the same, right? And we can't do that. And we can't do that. And so, like, this is one where, like, I just feel like Ricochet's winning, right? Like, I just feel like there isn't a reason to have him lose to Mark Briscoe here. But I will say he's also the type that, like, can lose here and it doesn't really hurt him or his character or his story here. So that's why it gives me pause, but I do think Ricochet's winning this. I'm going to write down Ricochet because I just don't feel like we're having Mark Briscoe place him in an ambulance, right? I just don't know that we're going there yet.
Yeah, but it's also hard for me to think that Mark Briscoe gets put in an ambulance and just goes away because he's someone who, yeah, he can lose and he's always just going to come right back and he'll be fine per se. But man, if you get straight up just carted off, no explanation, if clean, I should say, if you go off clean, that kind of is the nail in the coffin for your character. If that were to happen to Ricochet, I feel Ricochet being proven wrong with this current iteration of him being a heel could reinvent himself.
He could roll with this.
I'll do something else, right?
Well, or he could just even soak in the people making fun of him about it, right? And just if he were to lose this, right? If that's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I think something's gonna happen here. I don't know what, but I don't think that straight up fun Ricochet just beats him clean.
Could you see Briscoe gets Ricochet in there because everybody finally comes out and, hey, Baldy, and, it's 6 people throw him on the stretcher. And
Well, that could happen because then you get Kevin Knight. Then you could get, well, I know Speedball's taken, but there's
yeah, well,
other baby
yeah.
faces.
Mhm.
But Kevin Knight actually isn't busy on this.
That's right. He's not on this
Sunday.
card here. So what are you saying here?
I'll go. Yeah, fuck it. I'll go Mark Briscoe.
You're going Briscoe?
Yeah.
All right. Knew you were going to wear this shirt. All right. The AEW Continental Championship is on the line when Kazuchika Okada defends it against shoeless Mike Bailey.
Yeah. And what do you think of Okada tonight? Not doing his bitch. He just goes, like anything can happen. Or what does he say there?
Trust me.
Trust me.
Something like that. Yeah, it didn't do his bitch. And also it looks like the tariffs are hitting him hard in the hair dye department.
Or we're getting serious because him and Omega. So it's, less time in the salon, more time in the gym, but it could also be tariffs.
Yeah, could be tariffs. Yeah, it could all be tariffs.
Yeah,
Those
it
things are
always could be
magical.
tariff.
Yeah,
It helps
Okada's
me.
winning this.
It helps me. I've spent twice as much on eggs.
Yeah, exactly. No, I just buy less eggs, and that's healthier for me.
Yeah.
What a great. No way in hell shoeless Mike Bailey beats Okada for this title.
Yeah.
I don't even think he wins this
God.
match. Like, there's not even like a there's nothing here. Okada's going to stand tall, hand raised.
Rainmaker.
Whatever. Yeah.
Rainmaker. Standing big and tall. Yep. 1000% on that one.
All right. This one is a big one. It is the Anarchy in the Arena. We've got Jon Moxley, the EVPs, Claudio, Yuta, Marina Shafir. We've got Kenny Omega. We've got Swerve Strickland. We've got the Ops. And we got Willow. What the fuck was the point of having Gabe Kidd involved last week if he's not in this match? Not that I'm asking for him to be in this match.
He is in the match.
He's not in the match here on the card on this here.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
No way.
He's not. What they've got right here on the poster is Jon Moxley, the EVPs, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, and Marina.
Hold on. I'm gonna look this up. Because
I
thought
the Ops, and you got Swerve, Kenny, and Willow.
Yeah, but I thought they said, he was, so tonight on Dynamite, the episode had a match with so
maybe this
EVP.
isn't up to date.
Yeah.
Maybe they haven't updated the website yet because of right. Yeah.
So
You're
tonight
right.
it was the EVPs and Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland and the Ops, which make up Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs. We get through that. Swerve, Joe, and Hobbs defeat the EVPs and Moxley. Great match, a lot of fun. Hobbs looked really great, I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the night, Renee is catching up with the EVPs, and the EVPs are like, oh, hey, guess what? Joe said he's going to beat us up, and he ain't beating us up. Ha, 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 ha. And then Joe says, look out, bitch, and here's a trash can. And then we get the nicest brawl I've ever seen. It was so pleasant, and excuse me, I know I'm supposed to hit you, but I kind of wanted to already hit him, so move aside. Oh, here's a trash. Again, I know, look, I know that probably they're all friends, right? And you're not really I'm going to break your ankle, right? Or anything like that. However, if it's supposed to be,
as if.
Yeah.
Listen, we have a plan. We had choreographed this where you're going to move out of the way and I'm going to hit him. When we're live, pal, if you don't move out of the way, you don't move out of the way. You know what I mean? You're crossfire in that moment and you got to roll with it. That's what improv is.
Yeah. And so it was, Gabe Kidd does come out and then starts to, get one over on the good guys. That's why I think of Gabe Kidd makes me fucking allergic.
Out, demon. Out.
Get out of here. Curse you. And then it ends with the EVPs doing some fun shit for some tables, and they put Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland through some tables with the crossbody off the top rope, and that's how we kind of end the night. So,
Fuck Your Mama 2 Times does point out rightfully that they're not going to lay it all in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Right.
Fair point too. We'll get to it, but MVP
and
like,
MJF,
they don't even have a sports team here because no
they
one
had
wants
the
to
time
play
of their
here.
life shitting on Albuquerque.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah,
I wanted them to keep doing that for a while. I was like, no, don't stop. Let's keep shitting on New Mexico. This is fun.
Yeah, because I liked how we'll get to it, but I liked how MVP said, "Why don't you go boo your boss tomorrow at the job you hate?"
What else? He's like, you must be as stupid as these people are ugly.
That's great. That is great. Okay, so for the match, I'll go first.
Yeah, whether Gabe Kidd's in it or not, he's not deciding which way this goes. So
it's gonna be Moxley and the EVPs. The heavyweight champion's not losing in Anarchy in the Arena match, or any match really. That doesn't mean a title changes hands, i.e. the trios champs.
This is why I want to agree with you, right? Because when I look at this, I'm like, all the stories we've said should give us no reason to think team, AEW fans are winning this, right? So I hesitate to call them Team AEW because the EVPs and the AEW World Champion are on the other side, right? So who's really Team AEW? But so what I could see is somebody else, Yuta, loses it, right? And then it kind of is more to the like, you're a Jesus Christ, Yuta, right? Like lean into that and start kind of leaning back into the unraveling of the Death Riders, which might then lead into, whoever wins the tournament final, right, is running up to them. That might help that cause, right? So I could see where we could have that team lose, but Moxley's not in the decision.
Yeah.
But God, I don't buy it. I think it's too violent and it's too bloody that Samoa Joe is violent and Swerve's the baddest man in wrestling and Willow's the queen of this shit. But I feel like the Death Riders win this, man. I can't.
Yeah. Because I also don't think anyone who wins from Team Good Guy is going to be the next that takes on Moxley, right? Because that's what theoretically you would say is,
we already know who that is, honestly. With the Double or Nothing winner.
Yes,
we don't know
exactly.
Who it is, but
the
tournament winner, yeah.
Right, but yeah, so I don't feel like anyone would get that. One other thing, though, that I did want to say that I thought was interesting is if you look at the history of AEW, one could argue MJF versus CM Punk or Swerve versus Hangman could be like the greatest feud in AEW 6 years. However, if you look at like the biggest moments, whether it's blood and guts or a lights out match or world championship matches, the linchpin of Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega is like everywhere almost yearly. They're going to be in some violent knockdown, drag out war. And so I thought that was interesting is like, cause I know that it's not really Moxley and Omega have the feud, but they do, and they are going to fight each other here. But yeah, it's just every year they're in a blood and guts. They're in a lights out. They're in a death. What was that? Exploding death wire or
the exploding barbed wire death
match. Death match. Yeah. And so it's just like, man, those two, I think, are the greatest
like
feud in AEW.
Like some fucking pop rocks. Fuck Your Mama 2 Times in the chat says, I hate New Mexico like Tom hates Houston.
Oh, I fucking hate Houston. God, what a fucking piece of shit town. They must really hate themselves when they wake up. Like, if you hate your job and you live in Houston, boy, have that fucking suicide line right on speed dial, because God, that must suck. It really must suck to be in Houston. I lived there for 3 weeks, or no, it was like 6 weeks, and hated it. I'd spit on them. Ugh.
Yeah, you had nothing nice to say about it during that time. I remember that.
God. And then
nothing
got that
nice to say about it.
dirty
Never
ass
since.
water. Dirty
Never
ass
since.
water down there. Ugh.
Well, the AEW World Tag Team Championships are on the line this Sunday on pay-per-view on Double or Nothing from Phoenix, Arizona. When the ROH World Tag Team Champions, or the Sons of Texas, are going to be taking on the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate, albeit only the AEW World Tag Team Championships are on the line. And, of course, Dynamite. We got the contract signing.
Yeah. What'd you think? How did you... I got thoughts, but I don't want to go on a long rant
the
here.
contract signing portion, MJF hitting all the notes, right? Like, he's wearing the suit. That's like the inverse of what they're wearing, right? With the tie and the suit combo. The hat, picking up the hat like he just fucking got drafted, right?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Still a little hesitation from Bob. But then I felt like all of that just got cut out and put on pause because fucking grandpa and his grandson here come running out to rah, 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 rah.
And boy, Dustin was all over the place. You could tell he forgot some lines. He said the same thing. I have heart, dedication, and heart. I think he said at one point. Fucking, who cares? Hurt Syndicate beats Sons of Texas. We all know that. Fuck them. Yeah. I thought there were some interesting parts here, and this is why. First, before we even get to the contract signing, we still do this weird thing where the Hurt Syndicate are in, like, I guess an office or something.
Yeah.
MJF walks in with his lawyer, Smart Mark Sterling. Hurt Syndicate leaves, but then the two lawyers and MJF are there by themselves. It's not just the two lawyers.
Right.
It's also MJF. Shakes Mark Sterling's hand. You're the greatest for doing this. Shakes the Hurt Syndicate's lawyer's hand, and then does do you have any hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a backhand or you fucking nerd or dork. It was just like kind of did a deal with the devil, right?
Yeah.
We also don't know much about this motherfucker. So he's only got introduced 3 weeks ago in a pass-by promo. And Shelton Benjamin during this, if you notice, was like double checking and he didn't necessarily say, right? We didn't get the promo of like the verbiage of what he was saying of like, what's in the contract, what's on the contract. Bobby also does the same thing. MVP, being the brains, just straight up signs it. Just, it's fine. So I'm thinking somehow, some way,
snuck something in there.
The two
sold
lawyers,
the name of the rights to them or something.
The two lawyers are MJF's cronies. Obviously, Smart Mark Sterling is, but the two lawyers are his cronies, and somehow that's gonna fuck up the Hurt Syndicate. That's just a gut feeling, but it's so weird that like the contract was so like, make sure I'm reading it, but MVP doesn't. And then that one thing where like they all leave except for two lawyers and MJF. Like, would you, if we were saying this was real world, right? If you were to do business with MJF, would you be like, oh, I'm cool if it's just MJF, my lawyer, and his lawyer?
Yeah. No.
You know?
Yeah,
and so something is in that, I think.
One of the parts I liked of this too is MVP not only shitting on New Mexico, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit too, starting it when they're all booing. He's like, well, the only reason you're booing is because MJF is better than you and you know it. I was like, that's nice touch. And then as fucking Mama 2 times says here is, his favorite part is them talking shit about New Mexico, that one horse-ass state. They literally have one Walmart throughout the whole state, he says.
The only thing I have
less Walmarts is not a bad thing, but I get what you're saying there.
Yeah. I do kind of have a soft spot for New Mexico because my favorite TV show is Breaking Bad, and that was in New Mexico. And so it's a little bit of a soft spot, right? I am the one who knocks. God damn, that shit is fucking fire.
I literally like stood up out of my chair and was like, whoa! When he said that shit, I was like, fucking, oh my God.
I showed that to my wife who had never seen Breaking Bad, and she goes, I got chills. And then that's what made her start to watch the show.
I started watching the show. It lasted a couple seasons on Showtime there. Your Honor with him on it.
Yeah.
On Netflix. Have you seen that? It's fucking good stuff. Watch that. It's good stuff. He's awesome. Brian
Cranston. Yeah, he's great. Brian Cranston can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Skyler, you fucking asshole. I'm so scared that my husband makes us a lot of money.
Yeah, this show was no Breaking Bad, but I mean, like, this is really...
No, I'm just saying Breaking Bad, Skyler, just, wow.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah. I know.
I'd fictitiously punch her in the face.
Fuck your mama 2 times says, go live there and see how you feel.
Yeah, maybe.
Feel like Breaking Bad, probably. You probably want to
Probably throw a pizza on my roof. Yeah, but Sons of Texas or whatever, they're gonna get fucking beat.
What
but
is
yeah,
that? Why are they the Sons of Texas? And why is Sammy Guevara? Look, I'm not asking him to cut promos here, but like, why is he running around? As I said to you before we started, Flavor Flav said more words than this fucking guy. What's he doing there? Why wasn't this just Justin Rhodes?
Yeah, he was like, what? I don't know which one it is, but like Penn and Teller, how one of them doesn't speak.
Yeah.
He was that one. You know?
I think that's Teller.
Sure, could be Penn. But yeah, I just don't like them. I don't like the gravelly voice. And again, he was so confused in the promo that at one point he just starts speaking, and you're like, okay, so that's the voice. Just do that then.
Look,
Macho Man.
He's still an amazing athletic specimen, especially for his age. He looks like he has a current NBA player's body. But like, again, it's like I don't. All that's great. You should go do like, you know what I mean, like the circus or something. Right? This is like or just a different spot. I feel like this is just, I don't know. This isn't it.
Well, my thing is just the gimmick. It's all the one last ride. In 6 years, you can't be on a fucking ride for 6 years. If he was positioned differently, I would probably be into it, but he's just not.
Well, and you know what? Like, it's that. It's not everything has to be for the honor of the fucking game, right? Like,
yeah.
Brother, you're not saving pro wrestling from the modern day, you know? Like, what are you doing here?
I don't get it. I don't get it all, but I don't like it. So I'm glad that the Hurt Syndicate will make quick work of them.
Yeah, this will be.
Here's what I would do, because I think that match is kind of a yawner, and probably most likely will be. But that song is the fucking fun shit. I'd kick the pay-per-view off with that.
Yeah. Yeah, unless we were to like rush this, MJF is screwed over the Hurt Syndicate stuff, and he somehow cost him the title here, and we kick that off there. But like, we're not doing that. We're gonna milk this for a while. These MJF things don't go quick. Right, like we get several weeks of fuckery. So yeah, Hurt Syndicate wins this with ease. Yeah, they're gonna make Dustin Rhodes look like he can go. You know what I mean? They're gonna do some stuff, and you know, there's gonna be some offense from them. But Hurt Syndicate wins without like, we're not gonna believe too many times that like, oh my God, I thought that 3 count was coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Hurt Syndicate. The AEW Women's World Championship is on the line when timeless Toni Storm successfully defends their title against Mina Shirakawa this Sunday.
What if, just throwing it out there, what if a Mariah May comes back and costs them? Well, here's the thing. Everyone has said that she's just going to sign with WWE. Okay. I also heard that Mabel was going to be the third man in the NWO.
Yeah.
And if you pay attention to her social media, a lot of pictures with her and that belt, the AEW Women's Championship belt, and some pictures.
Yeah, she was just biding her time. She wouldn't be doing this.
She wouldn't be posting photos that say AEW behind her every time.
Well, and this would also explain why suddenly Mina's got a title shot when Mina wasn't around for whatever. So are you going with Mina wins this AEW Women's World Championship?
No, because I'll tell you at the end of our picks why I have to go Toni Storm. But yeah, I'm going Toni Storm. But don't be shocked if Mariah May. That's just a gut feeling. Too many social media posts of her.
Second, I don't know what happened.
That happened.
But what you were just saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say there was a photo of that Mariah May posted of her and Mina with the championship belt, like between them, which I mean, obviously Mariah had it, but like, so don't be shocked.
Fuck your mama 2 times here. He says, Mariah is gone, my friend. The writing's on the wall. And he says, if you not noticed, they haven't been showing or acknowledging her existence in the company, but I think that can work in your favor.
Yeah.
They want you to forget about her.
Right. And again,
Toni Storm's been all fun, not a problem in the world.
They never acknowledged Toni Storm when she lost in London, right? She went into CMLL and Tokyo and all that. And I will again turn the tables on you. You know who has been acknowledging AEW? Mariah May. Go look at all the photos she's posting with AEW behind her. It's easy to get rid of that if you wanted to, you know?
All right, but you say Toni Storm's winning.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why at the end, but I have to go Toni Storm here.
All right, well, the Women's Owen Hart Memorial Foundation brought to you by Tournament Final, is happening, and Mercedes Moné is taking on Jamie Hayter. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first here? Mercedes Moné wins this. I don't see Jamie Hayter, again, like you said. Mercedes lost this title, but she still hasn't been pinned. And I just don't think I don't see that, like, they're like, everybody's behind Jamie Hayter right now. We've got to give her the torch. That's not happening. So it's Moné.
I think it's Mercedes Moné. We used to do this thing for any longtime listeners. We would wager a point.
Yeah.
We won't do that here.
Yeah.
But I would wager a point that Jamie Hayter has Mercedes Moné dead to rights. And as she's about to win this tournament to get that championship shot so that she could regain her championship, she's going to have an old friend, a Miss DMD, fuck her over, and Mercedes Moné moves on. Because one thing that I found interesting from tonight's face-to-face is Jamie Hayter kept saying, well, what if I get forgotten? And that is all kind of true, right? If she just gets beat by Mercedes Moné, we're going to go like, oh, remember that one time that kind of like Hikaru Shida, when Hikaru Shida took on Mercedes Moné? Oh, well, Jamie Hayter also did it. But I don't think we want to spend all this time on that to then just have her lose and kind of go back to the line. So Britt Baker coming in, working with her. Yeah, it could be.
I thought Britt Baker was almost Ricky Saints out of there. I thought they were like, I don't like you anymore.
You friends, not you. But like, just because someone is off for a couple months doesn't mean they're trying to leave.
There's a lot of heat on her right in there. Like, everybody said she was a bitch.
Well, yeah, but so is CM Punk, and that motherfucker's working every week. Like, you know what I mean? If you can make him money.
That's true. Fuck Your Mama 2 times says Jamie is winning. He says, by the way, I think Athena might make her presence felt.
Ooh, so that's okay. I will say, the two thoughts I have were Britt cost Jamie or Athena cost Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
You said Mercedes wins. Because think about All In. This is where our minds have to go. Could we think that, because I don't know how many matches there are going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 2 women's matches of Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter and then Athena versus Mercedes, that's pretty strong, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to have, because I don't think they're going to do
that's
champion
true.
Versus champion.
So what would be your second women's match if you went Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné at that point?
Well, I would think it's Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, but that's not a TBS, or that's not for the TBS championship, right? Because that's the other part of this is I don't believe they're going to do champion versus champion, right? The winner pulls an Ultimate Warrior. No, because I think they or
is it just that, I mean, Mercedes would get a shot at that thing. She could win all the titles, but Toni Storm could not.
No.
That's what we're doing with the tag team titles over here with ROH, and that's different. That's a different company.
Well, but they don't fucking care. Who cares about those?
And they don't count. It's like NXT.
Because here's the thought. I think they would want both titles defended at All In, right? A one match here, a one match there. And what is Athena doing? Just hanging out?
Are you saying Jamie Hayter wins this? Changing your pick?
I gotta be bold. I can't be a puss.
You going Hayter?
No, because Ring of Honor is going to have their pay-per-view, and you're not going to have a double dip of Athena defending her women's championship. And there it is. Talked myself, got back to reality. Yep, it's going to be Mercedes.
All right, the Men's Owen Hart Foundation Memorial Annual Tournament Final.
Hold on, quick question for you, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we both agreed Mercedes is going to win,
That's
right?
what I've written down here. Yeah, unless you want to change.
No. So, at All In, do you feel that the TBS championship doesn't get defended by anyone? because you could still have Mercedes lose, right? Distraction. She's focused on Tony. Tony
Yep.
does something. She gets rolled up, right?
Or Athena then comes out there and
You're
fucks
right.
with
Yeah.
her, right?
Yeah. So what's your gut on that? Fast forwarding a little bit.
Yeah, I could see where we don't necessarily need a program for the TBS title, especially if we just think we're going to put somebody up against Mercedes Moné for the TBS title, which haven't we done that with everybody? And I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless maybe Megan Bayne wanted to, but that's another heel, right? So I don't. Yeah, I could see where it's just this is our shot to, you know what I mean, get all the belts in AEW, and Tony Storm's defending, right, like against this villain, and you know.
Yeah, that was just an interesting because that was what I was wrestling with this entire time is the
All right.
you know.
Well, and this they had a sit down here on Dynamite. We didn't really talk about that, did we? On their
Well, yeah,
and Mercedes?
yeah, that's what I was saying. They kind of the Jamie part of it was, what if I get forgotten about? And that's where I was like, well, Britt Baker interfering.
Yeah, you did touch on that.
Yeah. And then Mercedes basically, the thing I did think that was interesting is that, really? Sorry.
Basketball game?
The Oilers were up 3-1 on Dallas, and Dallas beat them fucking 6-3. God damn it, Edmonton. Fucking Canada. The Knicks Pacers game though is
Here's
crazy,
how not
right?
plugged into hockey I am. For a second, I was like, Oilers, they haven't played in fucking. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
Gotta get into playoff hockey. It's the best.
Yeah.
The Pacers Knicks game looks to be crazy too. Anyhow, sorry, got distracted. It was an alert. What I was gonna say? Oh, Jamie Hayter bringing up, hey Mercedes, what's missing from you there, pal? How she lost the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. I like that. That was good because
You know what, it hit me
she
tonight.
said her destiny was to have it all crumble. I like that. What Jamie Hayter said to Mercedes too.
Slightly off topic. It hit me tonight, and you've brought this up before about how Mercedes Moné pronounces women's when she references the women's championship or the women's division or women's wrestling. And I figured out the key difference here is she's saying woman's as though it's like she's saying it in the way you would say a singular possessive, right? I took this woman's title from her, right? Or I stole this woman's purse. But she's saying that when she's saying the women's division or the women's title. And it fucks with me every time. And I need her to stop. What is that?
I don't
Stop
know.
it.
I hated it the entire time.
That's when I'm going to hold this woman's title above my head. I'm like, no. No. That's your woman's title. Like, you're the woman's title. Stop saying that. I don't know what that is. That is one of the key reasons I'm like, I'm never going to cheer this one until you start saying this right.
The worst.
Stop it.
Worst at this. Yeah. So interesting, but we got some different ways that we can go. But again, I think we both agree. I think that's going to be Mercedes.
All right. Well, on the men's side of things.
Okay.
Hangman Adam Page. Will I fly internationally every week, Osprey? What do we got here?
Okay, let's talk about the promo. So the promo kicked off tonight's Dynamite. It was fantastic. Let me say that on the front end. 12 out of 10. Great believability and delivery from both guys, Will and Hangman. Hangman keeps hitting grand slams every promo.
Feels a little slow to start, and we got there a little roundabout.
We got there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was slow from Osprey's part. And again, he of the two is the weaker promo guy, right? Which is fair, right? Nothing's against that. But you just mentioned that the I fly home every fucking week. Who, brother? Then don't. Like it's a fucking choice. You know what I mean? Like,
now listen, I get making the choice to not live in these here United States right now if you can avoid it. Definitely understand that choice. But like, I mean,
don't
that is
complain.
The choice you made, right?
Right, that's
like,
what I'm saying. Don't complain. There's
I think
one
he's complaining, right? I think he's just saying like I'm here doing it. You like I think he was saying like I do that and not complaining, and that's to show like I'm saying that to show you like I want this more than you, right?
Yeah,
I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, it seemed like a little. You know, it was
that
like
part was the part that hit the least for me. That's why I said it was slow to start because then when he started getting into Hangman about like Hangman personally and what bothered him about Hangman, right?
Yeah.
Like, how we
Perfect.
like, brother, when he was like almost like kind of the like MJF CM Punk thing where it was like, I believed in you, man. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and now
Look
now
at
you're
this.
just this
Yeah.
weak.
One thing though about the flying back and forth and all that kind of stuff, because he was like, and sometimes I don't sleep. It always reminded me, like in high school. I don't know if you guys did this in high school when you were in the 1960s, but like we used to be like, yeah. See if you're listening. They'd be like, "Oh man, I got like 3 hours of sleep." "Oh yeah, man, I got an hour and a half." And it's like, it's not fucking cool that you
it's
slept
not
less
cool.
than me. I'm still fucking tired. Like, I hate that shit.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
know,
not
yeah.
a fucking competition.
Yeah. Well,
Anyhow,
like it's as if to say, even if you're more tired than I am, that invalidates my tiredness. That suddenly I'm just not tired now.
yeah, I would always say that back. I'm like, I'm still tired.
I don't
That
have the
sucks that
right
yours-
to feel tired now because
Yeah.
you might feel more tired than me.
Yeah, they don't fucking yeah.
'Cause you have
Even-
worse health than I do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but I do like I like the point where Hangman's like, immediate was like, well, that's the difference between us, right? Like, you want this, bitch, I need this. I gotta have it. Like, fucking.
Well, because when Hangman talked about the Christmas morning and his kids are playing with the toys and he's staring out the window waiting for Swerve. And again, about how he said, 2 years, I just wanted this one thing. And then when I got it, it wasn't the thing I actually wanted. Fucking perfect.
Yeah.
His voice breaks a couple times. Oh, it's the fucking best.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, there was, is that a red herring? Would that be the correct phrase here? I don't know. There's one detail that told on itself of what's going to happen at the match. The detail is we start to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Will Ospreay, though, then goes into this little tangent where he said, so you were the one, Hangman, that has beat Jon Moxley. And if I can beat you, then I can beat Jon Moxley. So I have to get through you to prove to myself that I can beat that fucking monster and the Death Riders. And that right there told on itself. He's going to use Will Ospreay is essentially Apollo Creed for Rocky before he goes back to like Clubber Lang. You know what I mean? And so yeah, that's it right there. And that's why I had to go Tony Storm, because I'm never going to do a pay-per-view where I go against Tony Storm and Hangman Adam Page. I can't do it. I have to pick at least one of them. And so I'm more focused on
I feel the same way. I feel the same way that what hit me was when he was like, this pay-per-view will be in front of, it's Forbidden Door. It's in front of my fucking family, my things. And I'm like, yep. And Hangman's story is still like, this wouldn't fill the void in Hangman's heart all of a sudden winning this thing. You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't help him to do it. I think it helps the story more for him to lose this match. If that makes sense. So I feel that way too. I feel like I would never say I would write that Ospreay's beating Hangman Adam Page, like if I'm writing these stories, but I feel like that's where we're going here.
Well, you would write it as far as, excuse me, what story is more interesting?
Got choked up over this storyline.
I always do when I talk about Hangman.
Yeah. It just upset you that you couldn't pick Hangman.
Yeah.
You're choked up about it.
I can't handle it. Don't look at me.
So ashamed of myself.
Can't believe I'm doing this.
I
With
was
my best
vomiting
friend.
over here in the corner.
Oh my God. So yeah, I think the more interesting story is because Hangman is a better actor. Let's just straight up say what we're talking about here. Hangman's the better actor of the two between him and Ospreay. So a dissension into self-destruction, one, kind of the AEW playbook for Hangman, and two, let's keep it going if it's not broke and find a new way to do this to Hangman, I think is just perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to fucking get it done. I do think the Forbidden Door thing was also another where it's like, oh, fuck yeah, that's right. So then Forbidden Door, but that means he has to beat him at All In. And Texas don't really give a shit, right? Forbidden Door, All In is before that. So, you know what I mean? We could have him lose and then have him win.
He can win
later.
that title at Forbidden Door, right? Like
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I still just think, yeah, it gave me vibes of like Osprey, because then he even asked him, like, are you going to help me? And I think he's going to ask him for that help. And
Yeah.
Hangman's going to be torn on whether or not he wants to help
Reluctant.
him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you one other thing, though, that I have on my mind. Let's also not forget, leading up to this match, before they did this Can They Coexist tag team and these fun promos, they were also doing standalone promos with MJF. And I would not be shocked if MJF interferes in this match and maybe tries to fuck both of them over and then just happens to really get Hangman more than he gets Osprey, right? Like, he still has to hurt people.
Right.
And we're not going to do a fucking promo, or excuse me, a pay-per-view, in my opinion, without MJF doing something crazy. Not crazy, but like memorable, right? He's not going to sit in the corner for the Hurt Syndicate and just go like, thumbs up.
So, and this also like, so he could come out, he could distract Hangman. Osprey gets the win, maybe unknowing what happened there, right? So it doesn't look like Osprey cheated, right? But and then that then sets up Hangman MJF to have this like fucking letting him distract me, and Osprey can kind of go on this like, I'm gonna win it for everybody, right?
And that could be the reluctancy, right? Is, hey, Hangman, I need your help here. Hey, brother, I got MJF to worry about.
Right? Like, no, remember that you said that about Swerve, and now you don't need to do that anymore, right? Like we agreed. We drank a beer on this.
Yeah, like fuck you. Still got to do it. You know, you play that music, I'm gonna dance. See ya, bitch. I gotta fight this motherfucker. You know.
Well, I don't have to ask you what your tiebreaker is here because we only picked one match different. It's Ricochet and Mark Briscoe.
Oh, yeah, because I went Tony Storm because I was gonna go against Hangman.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. That stretcher match is all it, man. And I agree. That's the one match on the card where I feel like that's the most where I feel like it could go either way.
That and the
Maybe
Anarchy
in the
Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could have Powerhouse Hobbs lose the match, or you could have Yuta lose the match. Or Gabe Kidd.
Hangman and Osprey, I could write that. I could see why they could go multiple ways there, but I really don't see, these other things that we picked. I don't really see. Speedball is definitely not winning.
No.
McGinnis and Garcia are definitely not winning. Sons of Texas are definitely not winning. I really don't think Mina Shirakawa is winning, but you did talk me into, we could. It's a great way to get a title on somebody without Tony losing necessarily. And it's involved in the storyline that it would create, or at least filter. So, like, it fits, right? But, and then, Mercedes Jamie, I guess, we can see how that goes. But it's a good card. I think we're going to get a lot of good matches. I think these are going to be leading to, like, these stories, some are going to end, some are going to continue, but, like, we're still kind of weaving in and out more towards bigger events, right? The All-Ins, the Forbidden Door, all those kind of things.
Yeah. I think it's going to be fun. I think the memorable moment of the night is going to be the Anarchy in the Arena. I think we're going to fucking do the craziest shit possible. I do think
get some
because
kind of weird, like, does Bryan Danielson show up at this thing or something and help teammate it? Like, do we get some kind of weird thing like that from there with Anarchy in the Arena?
I wouldn't be shocked if maybe John Moxley starts to look fucking badass and he's going to kill everyone. And then a certain someone shows up.
Comes flying down the mountainside.
Comes down like Sting, right?
Yeah.
It'd be a shocker.
Could be both of them. Could be everywhere John Moxley turns, there's somebody from his past to fuck with him.
Yeah. By the way, we're going to get some more matches, we know, probably tomorrow night. I imagine an Adam Cole will defend his championship against fill in the blank somebody. But man, we're going on my thought with Anarchy in the Arena. Where's Jack Perry, man?
Yeah, and I don't see anywhere we could get him here in this, right? That would mean anything. So I wouldn't do it here, right? A Double or Nothing. There's no storyline where him to really get involved, right?
Another person who could take the pin that would be kind of unique, because we have to build that match as well, is if you do Okada versus Speedball earlier in the night, Okada coming in and hitting the Rainmaker on Kenny Omega, and then Kenny ends up getting pinned by Matt Jackson. I mean, you could do that right there too. So wouldn't be shocked if that happened.
I still like the idea of Yuta fucking losing it for the other side, and then them being like, "Fucking Yuta," right? And everything starts to crumble because we all get behind Yuta.
I think it would be cool if you really want to. Here's my pitch to Tony Khan. If he was like, "Hey, people are starting to really not like this John Moxley, Death Rider champion thing. Like, what can we do to like really jumpstart it?" I'd have him beat the fuck out of Willow and have John Moxley pin Willow. Like, cut her up, fucking make her bleed, like make it uncomfortable.
Choke her with a plastic bag. Fuck it.
I mean, if it's an intergender, right? Make it, because here's the thing. Side note here that I was thinking about. Here's a slippery slope, especially with Tony Khan, who said, "I don't like doing intergender," right? Here's a slippery slope with that. If we see Willow hit a package power bomb on Yuta or whatever,
yep.
Well, hey, have them wrestle. Yeah. But if you just stop it Sunday night with John Moxley damn near killed her, I don't ever want to see that kind of shit again. Well, there you go. There you go. It's done.
Yep.
We're not going to see that again, right?
Do that again. Yep.
Yeah. So if you really want heat on John Moxley, have him try to kill her.
Yeah, it could be definitely interesting. Oh, we got Shane G in the chat. We just went through all of our AEW Double or Nothing picks, and I'm happy to say that because Tom picked Mark Briscoe to beat Ricochet, he's gonna have to wear this shirt next week.
Fuck,
not me.
I'm not. No.
Yeah.
Here's two things.
Slap nuts.
Here's two things that aren't gonna happen. I'm not wearing that shirt, and I'm not seeing you in person. So it's not gonna be a thing.
Tom, I will leave this on your porch.
No.
No. I know where you live, and so does Jeff. And Jeff is coming for you.
No.
I need this out of my house. I don't think you understand. Look, I'm not normally this red. This is what this shirt does to me. You're like, I don't know how to tell you this, but
once it's like Venom, right? Like once it's like Venom, you're fucking done. Here's the other thing I would say. I think, as he mentioned in his promo, I think the main event will be Ospreay Hangman. I think my gut says we kick it off with Mercedes and Jamie Hayter, and we end it with.
Well, that's what they said. They said it's the main event.
Did they say it? Okay, I thought they were just.
Oh yeah,
like,
he said Tony Khan made it official. Yeah, they did say. Yeah, Excalibur said it. Yep.
I didn't catch that. So.
Yep. Which is an interesting choice when you have Anarchy in the arena, right?
Well, that's going to be the middle, right? Yeah. That's because I mean, hell, you could even book it out. You could say the women's Owen Hart, then the tag team, because then we hurt people, right? That gets some fun. That's done. MJF does his fun stuff. Then you do stretcher match. Then you do Adam Cole versus TBD for the TBS or TNT championship. Then you do Anarchy in the arena. Then you do the men's match. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
we have the women's world championship.
Right. Yeah.
And FTR's got to beat the shit out of.
They can be
Nigel
after
McGuinness and Daniel Garcia, which is a weird one. This feels like FTR was like, "Nigel, we want a match with you, brother," and he's like, "All right, guys."
Yeah, it feels like that could be after Anarchy in the arena, right? Oh well, hey, I got to stick around for this. It's Nigel's last tag match or whatever.
What they didn't say is that any one of these are necessarily the what do they call it? The buy-in, right? That feels like the buy-in match, right? FTR versus Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia.
That should be. Yeah, that's probably maybe where we're.
Or that's the Adam Cole spot too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we'll see, man. We shall
anything
see.
Else big on Dynamite that we didn't cover that's on this thing? We can't leave the fans hanging if we they want to hear our sound opinions and advice. But I think
that's a good call.
Most of the Dynamite was about the go home show though, so I think we got most of it.
Yeah, and we're doing this again on a Wednesday night, so if you're listening later, we are not recording after Collision. Collision, I don't expect too much craziness to happen. The thing I always do get nervous about, though, is Mercedes is in action in an open challenge. I always get nervous that, like, don't fuck with the money, not Monet, but don't fuck with the money and have her get her hurt, and then she can't do the match on Sunday.
When did we is Bailey going to show up one of these days? That's still years down the pike, isn't it? Isn't that what they said?
I would think so. Yeah. Now, Indy Hartwell, I could see her. What's up? You know what I mean? Now I think
Yeah,
she's with
free,
TNA.
right?
Well, I think
yeah.
she's with TNA, but that could just be a 6-month
Yeah,
thing,
I
or
think,
you know what I mean.
TNA works on some of those long-term
Oh,
things.
here's a quick question for you. Just want your feedback before we wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see Chris Jericho?
Oh God, I forgot Chris Jericho existed. So there we go. Who's been you think we get another like round 3 of the fucking Big Bill and Brian Keith and the Gates of Agony, maybe that's
That's
like
what I'm
our
saying.
opening match, and
Mhm.
then Chris Jericho comes out and fucks with him. I hope not. I really hope not.
Yeah, but don't be shocked.
What about like the whole Christian Cage storyline? We're not going to get none of that.
That could be another filler match that we get from Collision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Well,
But all right.
man, I think we're here. I'm excited about this one. I think we need to talk more about maybe we work these picks a different way so that we're not left with one match and your whole hopes and dreams are riding on Mark Briscoe. But we'll see.
Your whole hopes and dreams are ready on Ricochet, and you don't even like him.
No, I like Ricochet now.
Now.
Yeah, I didn't like him before. Yeah, no, this will be a fun pay-per-view. I'm excited for it. You guys know where to find all of those links, but any links to find us can be found at allelitewrapup.com. That's the links to catch this show back on demand if you want to. The podcast links if you just want to listen to it on an audio version. All the what?
Show your shirt off before we leave.
Jesus Christ. Look at this fucking Jeff Jarrett shirt. Look at this thing. Look at it. Look at it. At least he got like how orange he is, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the donate links are also on allelitewrapup.com, right? So feel free to donate there. We won't stop you. You can donate anything you want, and we'll happily take it, and we'll tell everybody how great you are. And we'll be back next week, and you'll get to see Tom wearing this shirt when we return with more All Elite Wrap Up.